Hello, everybody. Welcome to B&B Courtroom. We're here
Yeah,
to determine the execution of Jane and all her supporters. Benjamin, why don't you
or
explain what's going on here?
Kenny and all of his supporters.
Well, well,
Today we
all of Kenny's supporters are out in the jury today.
I don't know about that. I'm pretty sure the jury was impartial and that we each got to pick for this jury, so it should be fairly well matched.
Well, I'm sure our audience is like, 90% Kenny, but I mean, stick to your delusions, because well, we're about to talk about it, everybody. We're gonna talk about it.
Yeah,
Telltale's a Walking Dead.
yes, if you couldn't tell already, this is going to
This is the
be
one.
very exciting. For those of you that have played this game, this has sparked a little bit of controversy. People have argued in threads back and forth over who is the superior choice because, well, before I speak any further, I just want to let everyone know this episode will have a lot of spoilers. So if you are afraid of, hearing any sort of information, character deaths, plot, anything from The Walking Dead season 1, 2, and I guess the beginning of 3, then please skip or pause this, play those, and come back.
And for the record, I highly recommend the first, and if you like the first, play the second. I can't speak for the third, and
Yeah, I haven't played the third yet. I plan to. I haven't.
it seems like everyone in existence agrees with that statement, basically. So,
Yeah.
you'll,
Well, they're coming out with a fourth, so this is also
oh
on the eve
yeah,
of a new game coming out this year,
it
the
showed her
fourth
as an
season.
adult.
Yeah,
Yeah, okay,
or at
right,
least
so,
like a young adult.
yeah. So, what we're gonna do is, I'm thinking like two big chunks. Like you do all
Okay.
the talking you want, I'll do all the talking I want, and then you do a rebuttal.
Okay.
It's like a court, I guess. It's like an actual court.
Right.
Uh,
Wait, Alex,
yeah,
did you have experience with mock trial?
I do.
Yes.
So since
I
I
I
have
have
the most
not.
experience, I will be the judge, but also the jury, as well as the
Oh wait, no
executioner.
no no. I
Yes?
think the audience is the jury.
Okay, but all right, guys, but everyone listening, I'm right. But you'll hear I'm right. Right, Benjamin?
I don't think either of us is right. I just think that I'm not wrong,
All right.
if that makes any sense.
No, but don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Oh man, I haven't done mock trial in like a year, so I'm not even gonna
Yeah, I've
try to do
never
the
done it,
intro.
so you got a year on me.
So, as a show of good faith, you get to go first. I know
Whoa,
that
whoa,
it's a
whoa.
harder position.
But you want the recency bias. You want to be the last one to go.
Okay? Okay, I'll go first.
Yeah, you go first. I like
All right.
I think that it's more beneficial to go last.
All right. Well, you know what? Kenny always comes first, so that's okay.
He was in the first season. That's true. Kenny came first.
So I open my KennyTale folder, all right? And I open the KennyTale document, and I look, and it's titled at the top "Official Kenny Fan Club Manifesto,"
Oh my god.
and I have it split into two things here for you, Benjamin. I
All
have the
right.
Ken God section and the GI Jane section, and an Admit to Fault section. Okay, so I'm going to start right off with, Kenny himself, the man himself, Benjamin. He
Yes.
has been right about everything. Wellington, Arno, the boat. Technically, he's never been wrong. He's been an asshole sometimes, but he's been right about all the big goals that they're trying to do, and it's all been thwarted by disloyalty in the case of Arno and Wellington. Um, just dumbassery, people just running off, doing stupid things, fighting or killing for no reason, and cancer patients, which, what can you do about cancer patients, am I right? So, I mean, the dude's been correct. He loves kids, okay? All right, we got Alvin, all right, the little chipmunk guy right there. He loves him, little baby. Uh, Clem, I mean, he leaves Wellington, the big safety thing, so that Clem can be in, okay? I mean, he's self-sacrifice right there. He's loyal to a fault, I mean, literally to a fault. It's it's bad in the first season, but there are worse flaws, and he develops. He sacrifices himself several occasions in both seasons, right? He redeems himself by sacrificing himself for Ben. He's totally willing to do that if you manage to not kill Ben yourself, which I understand.
I totally killed him. I hated him.
Yeah, yeah, he was kind of a jerk. He's
Yeah,
kind of an
he,
idiot.
yeah, he was.
Um, in the second season, he took a beating from Carver so badly left him half blind. He leaves Wellington, and in the third season, he dies like a hero, telling Clem to leave him and just move away so that the walkers get eat him and not her. That's it. What a hero, okay? And he is a hero. He's punished Kenny, all right? He's got the phantom pain of his wife and kid that died, of his past mistakes. He's super regretful about it. I mean, when you meet him in second season, he's a broken man reforming. Okay, even his new love dies and is gone and turns. Just gets eaten, torn apart, right? His only solace are the children he's sworn to protect. He's that guy, okay? He's not afraid of death either. He puts others before himself. I'm gonna read off from a thing here. Okay, so I was looking through the threads, right? So this one says there's one scene that tells you about who is in the right when it comes to Jane and Kenny in the car at the end of the second season. So the fight scene in the car where they're yelling at each other, and the entire time Jane is goading Kenny with his dead family. Who does that, Benjamin? Making fun of their dead family. All right.
Well, he
Then,
got them killed, but continue.
all right, I will continue. Then Jane tells Kenny to pull over and let her abandon them again for the second time. And despite all that, when they crash, Kenny immediately asks Jane if she's all right. Then he asks Clem and AJ if they're all right. Then he risks his own life to go out there in the middle of a blizzard with walkers running around to get bitten to death to get gas. And he tells the three of you to stay inside where it's safe. And despite that, Jane says, "Yeah, you know what? Let's leave Kenny right now while he's out there and trying to get the gas." So she makes you drive off, and as soon as you crash, she books it, despite a zombie being in there with you. You're Clem, who she's like, "Yeah, let's hang out, okay? Let's be friends." All right. He's the kind who always puts other people's safety even above his own life. He did it with
Ah,
Ben after. uh, you can
I have
make a
some
note.
counter examples.
Make a
But
note
continue.
for your
Yeah, I
point.
have some counter examples.
Make a note. He did it with Ben after finding out Ben got his family killed. He did it with Jane after Jane made fun of his dead family. She's the person who doesn't want to be alone, but always takes self-preservation over risking her own life. Okay? He didn't even hate Jane. He tells Clem, maybe you're right about her. I was wrong about Lee at first too, and tells Clem how much he regrets what happens in the end, and how he didn't want to be right about Jane. I mean, he's not it's, it's not irrational, and he's totally open to it, but she keeps being evil and selfish. He
Evil is a
wants
strong word.
uh, okay, not evil, just really incredibly
Yeah.
dumb to an
Wait, what's
evil
it called?
degree.
Objection, strong language. There's like an objection or whatever. Anyway,
um,
continue.
yeah, I guess so. It's
There's
been a
something
while.
about that.
I was a
I forget
witness.
what the name of it is.
I was a witness, but don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Uh, he wants everyone to survive, even if it kills him, right? But Jane just wants her and her little sister to survive, even if it kills other people. So that was the post that I saw. So he's he totally puts others before himself. He's confirmed best bros with Lee. Okay, I mean, come on now. We all love Lee, and he's very likely to be a good
Yeah,
friend.
nobody's debating Lee
By
here.
the end,
Everyone
yeah.
loves Lee.
Yeah. I'm gonna pull the Lee card. Okay. My Lee liked him, therefore I do. And lastly, and this is just impressive, he's physically indestructible, except around cars, but they're cars.
Yeah.
So for my end to this part of of my argument, I'm saying Kenny is a real human being. His only fault was being fiercely loyal to his family in season 1, but besides that, he's been a staunch ally and looks out for others. Season 2 Kenny especially was constantly in the right or the voice of reason. I totally agree that in season 1 he was a huge asshole, super selfish. But he develops through that and becomes a better person. But G.I. Jane, she is, let me just go down the list. She's edgy, lame, and ugly. Okay, that's just the ad hominems out of the way, right?
Those are ad hominems, yes.
She literally kills babies, Benjamin. Literally. And you know what? She's an advocate for suicide. If you want to support an advocate for suicide and baby killing, be my guest. All right? She drinks.
Wait. Can you cite the example for baby killing? What do you mean?
You know what
What
happens
part?
at the beginning of season 3, right?
Oh no, you're saying when she kills herself?
And her baby.
But are we debating including season 3 part, or are we?
Oh, totally.
Okay, so we are.
We're totally
Okay,
going season
okay,
3.
I'll include that. Okay.
She
She
convinces
just didn't
Clem
want to
to
bring the child
abandon.
into that world, but yeah,
I don't know. Most of her actions point to her not being able to handle it.
I'll save it though. So,
All right, yeah. So Luther kills babies, advocate for suicide at the same time. Horrible, right? She
yeah,
drinks.
she's more than just an advocate.
Yeah, in fact, she's. You know what? You're right. She's not a hypocrite about that. She really did commit suicide.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. Hey, you're right. She totally did, in fact, commit suicide. So she follows
Yeah, a
through on
little bit
that
of
at least.
understatement. Yeah.
She drinks alcohol and gives it to little girls during a zombie apocalypse. Yeah, she tries to get Clem to take a swig.
Yeah.
Ridiculous. In fact, when she gets drunk, she talks about how she literally ate glass once. She's got a single digit IQ, Benjamin. I
Uh-huh.
think that's her biggest sin is having a single digit.
But I think a lot
And
of people do dumb stuff while drunk, including like
I don't know.
Kenny.
I
But
no, I don't
yeah.
mean that specifically. I mean like just in general. Her IQ is like the same as her age. It's ridiculous. She
Oh,
This is something I'm really angry about. She had the worst plan ever to get Kenny to attack her. That puts the baby, her, Kenny, and Clem in danger. And she didn't even tell Clem the plan beforehand. She's just like, just trust me. And then she goads Kenny and she's like, oh yeah, oh I left the baby out there. Like, oh no, I guess I tried to save the baby, but it died. And despite the
that's
baby being the whole thing
objection.
they're
That's
trying to.
not quite what she said.
Okay, go ahead.
Uh,
Sustained.
yeah.
As judge, sustained.
I believe that she said that, like Kenny asked her, "Where is baby? Like where's Alvin Jr.?" And she doesn't respond, and he makes the assumption that she either lost, or killed, the attacks. I believe that's what happened. We can check.
So what you're saying is the absence of truth.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh no, she totally tried to trick him.
Yeah.
That is true.
So yeah, but good
Yeah,
objection.
I just want to
Solid
clarify the
objection.
facts for the people out there for
Yeah,
the
okay.
course of
Solid
events.
objection. Totally sustained. But you heard him, folks. Lied. Totally lied. Absence of truth. Um, yeah, again, goads Kenny on by making fun of his dead family. Jesus, Jane, what's wrong with you? Abandon her sister, and yeah, her sister was, being a load, but I mean, how many characters in this do we experience that are just a load? I mean, I know that it was Sarah, right? Sarah was the other girl in season 2. It's
Oh
been a while.
yeah.
I mean, I know that I'm sure you left her for dead. I mean, you make like the weirdest decisions ever, but a lot of people got attached. So if you're
Oh
that
really?
person, Sarah was meant to be an analog for the sister, and I know a lot of people are
Oh yeah.
sympathetic towards Sarah, so
I didn't
I
try
thought
to
I'd
sit.
mention that.
I don't think. I'm trying to think. I don't think I did because
Benjamin, you
I don't want to
don't
die.
make an enemy of the audience. Classic mistake. Don't do that.
What do you mean? You
People
have to
love Sarah.
survive.
All right, I'll let you do it on your turn. I'll let you. All right. Oh yeah. Get this. An old half-blind man throws a punch after she gets the kid killed by accident or whatever, and then she draws a knife on him and tries to get him. Come on, jeez, come on. And that's after
Wait, when
after
was
she left.
that?
Kenny, who is an old half-blind man who's lost both his families, just loses his son because she failed to protect him or
Oh, you're saying at
something
the end?
at the end, yeah.
Oh
And
yeah.
so he throws a punch after the kid dies, presumably she would say by accident or
Okay, so
something.
he throws a punch. She pulls out a knife,
She
but then
pulls
he
out a
continues
knife
to
on him
attack.
and
Yeah.
defends herself with a knife. That's crazy.
Well, I don't know. He is
That
much
was
bigger
her
than she
plan the
is.
whole time, was to get him to attack in any degree so she could pull a knife and
Yeah.
kill him. Oh, and for the record, she's a huge hypocrite. Okay, she's like, people don't change, Clem. And then at the end, she's like, Kenny changed. He's crazy now. He's nuts. All right,
Oh, I don't.
survival of the
Yeah.
fittest. And then she's like, Kenny's just like Carver, that Darwinist fuck. She's
Yeah.
like, oh, Kenny was unstable and couldn't be relied upon. And then she kills herself in the third season.
Yeah.
Okay? And then she's like, we need to lone wolf it. We need to just be you and me. And she's like, oh yeah, let me just hump Luke over here while we're on guard duty, right?
Yeah, I
So
remember that
so
part. That
that's
was
like
funny.
that's a yeah, that was great. Good job. Granted, I if I'm not gonna say anything. Ultimately,
Yeah.
she was far more selfish than Kenny ever proves to be. Even though it's hidden behind an icy wall of indifference that's way cooler than just being an asshole, she's much like season 1 Kenny without a family and in it for
Right.
herself. Kenny's was a defensive anger about his family that walled him off from other people, but hers is just a selfish, indifference that she hardened up into. And she's far more cruel and never really redeems herself. In fact, her death was, I mean, both the deaths were really lame. It was Telltale
Yeah,
cutting the
the Telltale just had to
branches.
kill everyone.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
even
that's a
her last action, I believe it was selfish. You can talk about it on
yeah.
yours. I know you had a different, but I think it was selfish. So I'll
Yeah, oh, it
admit,
is. I completely think that is selfish. But I don't know. I feel like Telltale sort of that was that I'll talk about that.
yeah. And you know what? I'll admit three things. I'll admit it. He was hypocritical during the first season, huge jerk, but I think he changed. He did name his son Duck, horrible name. What were you thinking? And you know what? He's a horrible driving teacher.
Yeah.
That's what I think about Kenny. And you know what? At the end, he stole the knife that Jane was trying to stab him with and starts to bring it down on her. Don't take any action, because that way you can watch. So that, my people, is my case. So I'll take it down to you, Benjamin. Okay, I know you got some radical opinions over here about Jane,
Radical opinions.
and I mean it. I mean radical in the coolest way possible.
Right,
Go
right.
right ahead.
Okay, I would like to say something a little shocking
Oh yeah.
because this is a debate between Kenny and Jane, but I would like to say I don't hate Kenny. I
Oh
will like
yeah.
to
I
start
forgot
off with
about that. Yeah.
I
Clarify.
would like to start off with the fact that I don't hate Kenny. But this is less I view this argument as less of one of who is more moral or the best person between Kenny and James, but rather who is best for Clem.
Mm.
That is how I would like to frame the argument slightly different. Um, I also have another objection. Um, so when we were talking about Kenny here, we were talking of one of many Kenny. So just as Alex mentioned earlier, where he had his Kenny, where him and Lee were best buds, and his Kenny, did all of these amazing things. Well, I would like to admit that in the first level of the first season, where you had the choice whether to save Kenny's son or Sean. So either this guy you just met, his son, or Sean, this guy who saved your life. I chose to save this guy who would save my life, like the guy who had saved my life between the two of them. And everyone's like, no, you have to save the child. Well, I thought I thought the child was in less danger, honestly, than Sean. I think his name was Sean, but that'd be really bad if I messed that up. But I just I I decided I wanted to save him. And what happened after that is Kenny rushed toward his son, of course, and saved his son. But then he looked at me and I just saw in his eyes he could help me save Sean now. But he turned away and ran like a coward. And in that moment I knew that we were never going to be friends.
Yeah. Uh,
And Sean died because he didn't help me. Like he literally let a man die after he had already saved his son. And in that moment, I was furious. And then we got kicked off the farm because of that, and I was forced to be in a car with him.
I know that feeling, being
Yeah,
forced into a car with someone you don't want.
yeah. But so here's a couple just of story points with my adventure. So this is the story of my Kenny. Okay, my Kenny at one point. Let me see. Pull out some of my note. So there is a moment in time where Lee is being attacked by zombies, and if you're not friendly with Kenny, if it's a Kenny that is, you know, more hostile, he leaves you and just runs away while you're being attacked, and you like barely survive.
In
Um,
season one,
season one with Lee, yeah.
um,
Um,
oh, you know what? Is that in the convenience store?
I think so. I'm trying to
That was a
think.
convenience store scene.
That
Yeah,
may be the convenience store.
it's
Yeah,
probably
that
that.
was really. If he likes, like, if you're friends with Kenny, he'll jump in and save your life. But otherwise, like, this is a moment where, like, that's the second time in a row Kenny just ran away. Um, so I would also like to continue. Um, and I'll get around to the other things, but like Kenny was just off. Like I know it's supposed to be, oh, he went crazy in the second season, but he wasn't as crazy in the first. And I'll grant you a little bit of that. But I mean, he was already crazy by the end, like after his wife and son were gone. Like in my version of events, Kenny and Lee fought each other on the train, and Clementine was party to that. Like Clementine either heard the thuds or talked about it later with Lee. So in this story, Clementine has seen this entire time where Lee doesn't trust Kenny. Kenny says stuff against Lee, and they've been just enemies this whole time. As Lee, I told, um, like Omid and Krista, was that her name?
Yeah, Krista.
Yeah, I told
Oh
them that I
me.
wanted them to take care of Clementine instead of Kenny. Uh, and they said okay. Because like they were just not on good terms. And in fact, the save data for my first season was pushed into my second one. And this one line in the second one with Clementine is Kenny said, "I know Lee and I didn't always get along,"
Yeah,
which
huh?
clearly was from my first season save file. Um, because I mean, would have said we were best friends otherwise. But I mean, this Lee or this Kenny, like you said earlier, he was a hypocrite. I'll provide the perfect example of it. So when they were running into the convenience store with Duck, there was a worry that Duck had possibly been bitten, right?
Yeah.
And Kenny was like, "We shouldn't throw him out just because he might have been bitten." And they ended up not throwing him out. Well, when they're locked in the meat locker, and Larry has like a heart attack, or like we're not even sure completely what he had, or whether he was even dead. Lee smashes his, or keep saying Lee. Wow, Kenny smashes his face in.
Don't talk shit about Lee,
Yeah,
Benjamin.
no, I love Lee. Yeah, no, Kenny smashes his face in. Like he's not even dead. Like he might be. We're not even sure if he's dead. And he completely smashes his face in. And ah, like now Lily was bad though. I will admit. Like so, Lily, she shot was her name Carly?
Carly. I see you
Carly
went
was the
Carly as
best.
well. I guess Carly is someone everyone agreed on.
Yeah, everyone loved Carly. Like I loved Carly,
I'm
and
sorry,
that
Doug.
made
Did you know Doug was modeled after someone in on the team?
really.
Like even his behavior. I don't know if it was his
Oh,
behaviors as well, but
yeah. Everyone just
poor
picks Carly,
guy.
don't they?
There's a
Yeah.
small there's a small Doug subsection online where people will
Yeah.
go like, you know, remember Doug? I do. But keep
Yeah.
going. Keep going. I just want to
Yeah.
mention that.
So that's just a little bit of like I just want to make the point that the Kennys are different. So in this version of events, Kenny was a coward. Him and Lee disagreed on almost everything, and um and Clementine was party to all that. So in my version of events, Clementine likes Kenny, but doesn't completely trust him. Okay, so I'm getting to where Jane comes in. So we get to season 2 now, and when they find Kenny. Um, he's a little bit more ragged around the edges. He's with a new lady, and in this case, he he goes just a little bit crazy at moments. For instance, okay, I don't like Arvo. Okay, I'll just make that clear. When Arvo shot Clementine,
Good.
that made me very angry. But I think that Arvo may not have shot Clementine if Kenny hadn't beat him up multiple times and continued. Like, Kenny's treatment of Arvo is why the Bonnie and it's been a while. The other guy's name, I don't remember his name, but that's the reason why the other two teamed up with Arvo and tried to leave them, is because Kenny was so abusive to Arvo. It was unhinged. That pure craziness alone made it that, I mean, I believe that contributed to why Arvo shot Clementine and the whole reason they left. They wouldn't have done that. He's the one that isolated the and but here's let me switch a little bit here. So rather than anti-Kenny, here's what I like about Jane, and I'll talk about what I don't like about Jane in a second, and then I'll wrap up with who's best for Clem. So um okay, so Jane, you first meet her at the Carver's place, I think. And
Yeah.
yeah, so she actually, here's a couple of things she does amazing. So she actually saves Clem's life on the ice with Luke. When Luke's like going down, and Clem, I had her like dive in after Luke, I think. Um
Oh, Luke.
yeah, I
We'll
to
talk
me,
about
like,
Luke.
I sat at the
Oh,
table with Luke rather than Kenny, like when we had the option,
of
because
course you did.
my character loved Luke.
Uh huh.
He was the best. Like, I was Luke and Jane, like, of course they slept together. They're
Who
my two.
doesn't catch? Okay, go ahead. Go ahead. Don't
Yeah,
listen to me.
yeah,
Don't listen to me. Keep going.
yeah, yeah. So she actually goes on the ice, risking her own life. So this paints a little bit against the completely, like, the only cold-hearted picture of only trying to survive. So she actually gets on the ice, risking her own life to save Clip. Um. So yeah. Let's see. Let me hear. Um. But yeah, so Jane, she talks about, let me address with the sister. So Jane and her sister, the whole point is this. So if Kenny represents like family and loyalty and, putting others above yourself, but only others that are part of your family, not other people. Jane represents sort of the polar opposite in a sense, where it's pragmatism, just trying to survive, don't let people weigh you down. Um, and actually Kenny was the one who said we need to push on, which is what led to Rebecca dying. Anyway, but so that caused Rebecca's death because they left her, wanted to stay there. So Kenny's fault Rebecca died. Um, but Jane, um, she represents like trying to stay alive. Now she's not like, she will only cut people out if they, like, if it comes down to the wire. Otherwise, like she's not just going to like kill you for the buckle on your boot or whatever, like the shirt off your back. She wouldn't do that as far as I can. But so part of the reason she left the first time is she just wasn't sure she could be with everyone. Um, but here's the thing: she came back. So I know you were saying earlier, she was saying like, oh, people can't change. Well, she sort of proved herself wrong. She changed. She stayed for Clem when left her own sister, which her sister, like, there wasn't much hope. That there was really nothing that could, like, if she wouldn't get up and do stuff and there's zombies rolling around, go at some point. She spent so long trying to get with her. She just, sometimes you just have to go. So, but she came back, and when she came back, I knew that Clem had changed. In my conversations with Jane, I talked with her, and she said I did it just for Clem. So I had this whole relationship, and like she taught Clem these new tricks on how to hunt and these other things, and it became this sort of surrogate sister relationship between the two of them. So I viewed her as this older sister, and everything she did seemed to help there. And to me, Kenny, like, being unreliable, where he would yell at Clem even if Clem had been friends with him, where he would just yell at him, or he blamed me for his wife's death. So his second wife, I tried to saw off her arm when she got bit. And of course, she was immediately attacked by zombies. But I'm a little girl. Like, Clem's just a little girl. That's what I thought I should do, but apparently that was the horrible choice. And Kenny blames Clem and yells at her and pushes her away. At one point, physically pushes her. And like, to me, that's just not how you treat a little girl. Like, you don't push someone and yell at them over a choice. Um, and he was getting unhinged. He was erratic. He would be happy at one moment, really sad or really angry the next. He just didn't seem very reliable. Whereas Jane is someone who had survived on her own for a long period of time and knew how to survive, knew how to do stuff. She was the one that had the information on how to like to put the guts on yourself and walk through and survive. She knew all of these tricks. She is the best bet Clem has for surviving. So I need to come to the end now,
Okay.
where the between Kenny and Jane, the ending, right, where she tricked him. So here's a couple things. I think she was wrong to do that. That was wrong for her to try to provoke Kenny. I think her point behind it was right, but her method was wrong. Her point being Kenny is unhinged. My version of Kenny had pushed Clem, yelled at her, never been nice to Lee, all these other things. He had been pretty much a jerk the entire time. He did a couple of good things that were really nice, and I didn't want either of them to die. If I could choose, I would have gone with both of them. But so I don't like that she forced that. But in the end, he did make a rapid assumption. She didn't answer. He could have kept talking to her or been like, maybe she dropped the baby or something. Like, just because she wouldn't give her, like, maybe a circumstance theoretically could have happened where she was attacked and it snatched it out of her arms and she knew it was a goner, in which case you have to go. So theoretically, that could be, but she didn't answer. He asked her and she didn't answer, and he immediately attacked her. And when the choice came down to it, Kenny was forcing the knife onto her. He chose to attack her. Yeah, she tricked him, but he didn't even ask questions. He was so off the rails he attacked her anyway without her even saying anything. So when Kenny was forcing the knife down, I'm like, no, I'm not gonna let you kill her. Why can't we just talk this out? So I shot him, and
No,
I shot him. Yes, I took him out,
Benjamin,
and Kenny told me it was the right choice.
you sick freak.
Yeah. So I took him out, and then I traveled with Jane. I chose to go with her, even though I was still mad at her. I wasn't happy to shoot Kenny. I wished I could have gone. So I think Jane was wrong there, and addressing the season 3 ending. The season 3 ending is that she finds out she was pregnant from sleeping, hangs. That was irresponsible and selfish because at that point she needed to protect Clement. But I think the point being there, she still would have been Clementine's best bet at that moment, between when you have to pick between the two. And if she hadn't been pregnant, she would have continued with Clem, and they would figure things out together. And I think TellTale completely screwed everything up doing, um, because she could have found some other way to get rid of it. Like, they could have found it. Like, they had to, of course, make her hang herself so she'd go out. So I think that's throwing a little bit of the blame on TellTale. But um, yeah. Anyway, so I think that's my section. So I would like to rest here.
Okay,
So yeah,
that was really well constructed argument, Ben. I really respect that.
yeah.
Now, I'm gonna do my rebuttal here, okay? So
Oh,
I
okay.
was typing stuff out. I hope it didn't pick up the sounds. But
Oh no, I didn't hear it, or it might have, and I
yeah.
didn't hear it. But
And
continue.
I'd like to reiterate. So Ben isn't a hardcore fan of anyone. He just kind of leans Jane a little bit. I'm a hardcore Kenny fan. So just again, the audience, just so you
I
guys
mean, I
know.
like Jane. I don't love Jane. I like Jane.
Yeah,
I would Team Luke.
you're
I
pretty
would have
Luke.
gone
Yeah,
Team Luke.
everyone's Team Luke. Come on, Team
I
Luke.
like Luke. Luke
If it
was.
was if it was Luke and Kenny fighting at the end, I would have been so much. It would have been way harder.
Would you still pick Kenny?
Maybe, yeah.
Dang. Yeah, I just
Respect my
can't.
opinion, Benjamin.
No, that's fine. No, I feel like the game wanted you to like Kenny, and I didn't want to.
Yeah. All right.
Like I felt like the game was trying to get you to like him, but I just.
Yeah. All right. So you mentioned your many Kenny theory. Okay. So like different Kennys and different timelines. But let me
Yeah.
tell you, there's one consistent Jane, and she's a mean bitch. All of my all of my previous points stand on Jane regardless of your playthrough. So your Kenny, you know, he reacts to you perhaps strongly, and he's a bad guy. But my Kenny, the Kenny I know, he's a hero. He's a man of the people, second coming of Jesus Christ. He's a good guy. So you mentioned oh, no. I put down Ben, and I keep on getting it confused for Ben in the game, and I was like, what the hell was I typing out?
Oh yeah.
All right, so I gotta mention you were talking about the farm and saving people on the farm, and Kenny's a totally abandons one of the other guys. I gotta question your decision there, Benjamin. I really gotta question your decision there. I have to
What?
bring it
Not
up.
going for the child?
I have to bring it up. Yeah, not going for the child first.
Are you calling me to the stand?
I'm calling you to the stand, Benjamin. Please
Okay.
testify
To account for
as
my
to
actions.
yeah on the evening of May 2013 when you were playing Walking Dead season 1. Where were you that day on the farm? Who did you save on that farm?
I saved Sean. I think that was his
So you
name.
did not save the child pinned beneath the tractor.
Yeah. Wait. Let me. To me, let me see if I can find a picture of that scene. To me, Doc looked like he was in less danger. Um. Let me try to
Because
find it.
it sounds like to me as if Benjamin here picked the life of a fully grown man over a small child who is going to be eaten alive. I don't know about
I
you
would
folks,
like.
but I value the life of a child over anyone else. And we all
I
know that
think that
Lee
if the
had
child is
canonically
it.
never made a wrong decision. Lee has never canonically made a wrong decision because he's the best ever. And that doesn't sound right to me, folks.
So I would like to just say that I think that if let me provide a moral dilemma comparison here, okay?
Okay, go right
So
ahead.
you have two people, right? One of them has a 80% chance of dying, and the other one has a 50% chance of dying, right? The 80% chance of dying is the kid, and the 50% chance of dying is an adult. Would you still try to save the kid, even though it's more likely to die?
Well, I can't speak for the jury, but if I were to ask, I think they
And
would
you're in
pick
a
the
zombie
life of
apocalypse.
a I don't think you're what?
You're in a zombie apocalypse. You need more arms and legs. You need another. And also, you know the adults. You don't know this kid very much in comparison. You just met this kid. This is an adult that you know who saved your life already and looks like he's in less danger. Or, sorry, he looks like he's in more danger. Sorry, scratch that. He looks like he's in more danger than the kid. Yeah, maybe I screwed that up. I popped it up.
I
But no,
can't speak for every jury member, but I think they wouldn't care about 20%, 80, 50%. I think they would have valued the life of a child, even if they did not know the child personally. I would like to think that each and
even
every
in
one
the
of you
zombie
listening
apocalypse.
would have saved a kid from being eaten alive in a zombie apocalypse.
But what about? But I don't.
It's okay,
I don't know. I
Benjamin.
just
Don't worry.
couldn't because
Shh,
if
just let it happen.
I would just like to say pragmatically, this is where I side more of the Jane camp. I'm trying to stay alive, and this is a guy who loyalty here saved my life. and then B, looks like he's in more danger than the kid is, and his father is already going to go try to help him.
Well, there you
I
go. That kind of sums up the whole deal. Morals versus pragmatism. Kenny versus Jane. You know
maybe
where I
his is more
stand,
moral
everybody, and you know
though.
where Benjamin stands.
No, but if the goal is to keep
You
Clem
yours,
alive, is the
you
goal to keep
yourself
Clem
said that
alive?
Jane embodied pragmatism.
Yes, but she
Well,
also showed emotion by coming back to save Clementine.
I doubt she would have saved either of them.
That she would have saved either of them?
I said
I
I
don't
doubt
know.
I said I doubt
If
she would have
Sean had
saved
saved her
either of them.
life, if Sean had saved her life, I could see her going, especially if it's just one zombie or whatever the thing.
Hmm.
Maybe two. I'm looking at, yeah, that's two zombies.
Well, now that we got that decision taken care of,
Okay, yeah,
you said
I've
he was
explained.
crazy in season 2.
Yes.
He was not crazy. He was
Okay.
mourning, disillusioned, and he no longer cared for his life, but he put all of his stock in Alvin and
He
Clem.
brutally tortured a man to death.
Who was that?
Carver.
Oh my. Okay, hold on a second. Carver
I'm
was a
against torture.
horrible, evil despot. He was an
I'm
evil
against
man.
torture, though.
You're against torture.
Yeah, he
Okay.
should have just killed him. I'm not against killing people in the right circumstance, but
For the
not.
record, Carver, even if you disagree with torture, which is great, I totally agree. Uh, Carver beat him half to death as well. So
Yeah.
if you're an eye for an eye person, I recommend you think
Literally
about
eye for
that.
an eye,
Literally
though.
an eye for an eye. Oh, that was clever. Jeez, I didn't even
Yeah.
realize. All right, but
Yeah.
yeah. So I personally, I agree with you, Benjamin. Torture's bad, but
Yeah.
this was but a revenge beating. It's an eye for an eye situation
Yeah.
that Kenny opted for, and I'm assuming you looked away. You didn't have to stay.
Yeah. Oh,
Then good
I
on
just
you.
got reminded though, in terms of the crazy thing, uh, the whole thing with Wellington and going off. It was never clear whether that place actually existed, and to me, him just wanting to go off north while things were freezing seemed crazy. But it turns out it actually existed.
Well, I'm sure the boat seemed like a long shot at the time as well. But they found that. And
It
Wellington
just
did
still seemed
exist,
crazy to
and it's
consider
far, far
where he was.
better than a,
It was
Home Depot out in
freezing.
the middle of the
It,
woods somewhere.
yeah.
And Clem ended up far safer, which I'll come back on later.
Okay.
So you mentioned the hypocrisy between Duck being bit and killing Larry.
Yeah.
But the thing is, they're very different circumstances. One is a
Well,
child and they're not stuck in a meat locker with a possibility of a 200-pound man eating them
well,
or something like he's huge.
they were stuck in a confined area.
But they could change cars. They didn't have to stay in the same train car, and I doubt a zombie would
Well,
be
no, the convenient.
Uncharted Nathan
No,
Drake
no, the
climbing.
convenience store, Alex. The
Oh,
convenience.
the convenience store.
Yeah. No, they were trapped. There were zombies all around them.
Oh, yeah. Well, we weren't sure about the nature of it, and they did walk out. They walked out the back, didn't they?
Well, they had to go scrounge around. It took them a long time to figure stuff out.
Okay,
Like
granted,
you had to
you're right.
go like find the way to get through the door and everything. So that took a long time. So
Well, he was
that's why
never he was never bit though.
no, but they thought he might have because he had blood like he was a pack. So like they wouldn't, but Kenny wouldn't let him. If I
Well,
remember.
'cause yeah, if my son was not bit and he just like scraped his knee and people are like, end his life, quick. I'll be like, whoa, guys, he wasn't bit. I don't think it's that crazy for him not wanting to kill his own son who's not going to turn into a zombie.
Sorry, what was that last part? Sorry,
It's
I
okay. It's
zoned.
probably
I was
connection
looking up.
cutting out.
Yeah,
It's cool, yeah.
yeah.
I said, well, he was never bit. If you're a father and your son is not going to turn into a zombie because he was not bit and everyone's trying to get you to end his life, would you
But
be
they
like,
didn't know if
I
he was
got to
bit or
do
not.
what's right and just kill my
Kenny
son?
didn't know whether his son was bit either.
He didn't know. When did he say that?
No, they didn't know. Like that's why they were arguing. If Kenny could have said, "Hey, look at this. He's not bit," it would have been over.
Hmm. Well, when they found out, when they were sure that he was turning into a zombie and he was denying it, it was a very different situation from
Well, they
Larry being stuck in a meat locker. Larry's I don't know, 250-pound guy who could turn in a spot.
It just shows he's a
in an
little
isolated
heartless.
spot where they cannot escape. And you know what? I did disagree. I did disagree with him, and I tried to save Larry. I'm not that
Yeah,
guy, Benjamin. Don't worry.
yeah, yeah.
So I tried to save Larry, and in
Lee
regards to
is
him
a better
being totally against you
man.
later, he was on my side later. He didn't hold it
Yeah,
against me in the long term at all.
yeah,
He was bothered at the moment, but he didn't hold it against me uh, later at the end. So
yeah. I just
that's my
feel he
two
could have waited
cents.
for Larry to start turning and then smash him with the thing.
Huh. Well,
But yeah,
I don't know. It's a pretty scary situation being
yeah.
stuck in a room with
Both
that.
cases scary.
Yeah. And I don't think it would have been hard to hold back a small child. I know that's fucked up, but I see his reasoning. You know, two radically different scenarios with two radically different people who may turn into a zombie. But yeah. Oh, I want to clarify the Arvo situation.
Oh yeah,
Arvo's clearly a traitor. He clearly he stole the medicine from his own group. It didn't seem to be implying that and running away. And then he runs back after they
yeah.
kick him around. And
You're saying it's okay for him to like beat up
you could do
Arvo.
literally nothing wrong to Arvo. You can say keep the medicine, see ya, and then he'll come back and try to
Oh, I
kill
hate
you
no, I
and
hate
rob you.
Arvo.
Yeah,
I'm
we
just
all
against
hate
beating up children.
children. It's hard to the
Arvo's like a
elephant out there
child, right?
betraying each other.
It,
He looked like he
isn't
was
Arvo
like
a
what,
child?
17,
That's a child.
18?
That's enough of a child.
I'm no child, Benjamin. Are you calling me ad hominem
Are you
objection
17?
insulting me in the court?
But still, beating up anyone. I don't know.
Well,
Like it's.
he betrayed his own group and then he betrayed us after we
But
because
he
I
didn't
doubt that you took
actually.
the medicine. Wait, yeah,
Remember
you
how
took the medicine,
they.
didn't you? You took the medicine, didn't you?
Yeah, I did.
Of
See,
course
you
you did.
know it. But Rebecca was
I'm
pregnant.
getting to know you. Yeah, you're right.
But
But
like
still though.
so isn't it ironic? I actually might represent some of the more family loyalty values you're talking about with Kenny or whatever. Because I
Yeah,
wanted
you're
to.
season 1 Kenny. I
Kenny
just
would have stolen
realized.
it too.
You're
Kenny
season
got
1
mad at Jane
Kenny.
for doing that, but Kenny totally would have taken it for
Maybe in season 1. I just realized you're season 1 Kenny.
him.
That blows me away that you're picking Jane right now.
I but because Kenny was stupid.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Don't talk about stupidity with Jane in the room with us.
Yeah. Yeah. But
So
no,
Kenny beat him up after chronic betrayal from Arvo. Uh,
but here's
they could have and should have just left him to his own devices. Yeah, see ya, Arvo. Fuck off, buddy.
but Alex,
But
here's
they
what
took him
happened though.
with them, and he just lost his wife and everything, and he's
Yeah.
fucked up. So
Oh
this
yeah.
kid, you
Can
say
I quote you? Kenny is fucked up.
what?
You
I
said
meant
Kenny's fucked.
physically.
Oh, okay.
But
Not
yeah, he's more.
mentally.
So he's lost all this stuff, and then this guy tries to betray him and get him killed with a larger group.
Yeah.
I'd beat him up too, wouldn't you?
I wouldn't beat him up. I'd be angry at
Really, you wouldn't beat him up.
no.
Wow.
He
Well, then
didn't cause
I'll
the
have to
death
keep
of
you.
my wife or
I'll have
child.
to
He
keep
didn't
you
do that. They were
around to
already
hold me
dead.
back.
Yeah, they were already dead. They didn't
Just think
cause the
about
death
that,
of his wife
members
or
of the
child.
jury.
Yeah. But no, here's the thing with Arvo. They kept him alive because he could lead them to stuff, right? And there was the whole debate. Kenny's like, he's not going to lead us to anything. And everyone, and Jane's like, and the other people, yeah, he will. Well, he did. He led them to new stuff, and they actually got that stuff. So at least that moment, it was good not to have killed him at that, even though
Uh-huh.
Kenny kept beating him up, which I think contributed to the betrayal from the other three members.
It did.
If
It
Kenny
did.
hadn't
And
done
that
that,
betrayal was
they
horrible.
wouldn't have betrayed. They wouldn't have betrayed Kenny, Clementine, and Jane. They wouldn't have betrayed them if Kenny hadn't beat him up repeatedly and seemed unhinged. Because that was the reasoning. If we're trying to say whether he's crazy or not, well, he was crazy enough to convince Bonnie and the other guy, I can't remember his name, that he was crazy. So I don't know.
Actually, I'm glad you mentioned that. Yeah, it did contribute to the betrayal of what do you freaking call him, Bonnie and everyone
That
else.
guy.
Um, but that is some gross disloyalty. You're willing to go for this chronic traitor over some an angry member of your own group?
Wait, I'm confused. What
Like
do you mean?
the they're like, oh, he's beating him up. That's horrible. He literally he tried to get his group killed stealing medicine, and then he tried to get you guys killed
I'm for
with
cutting
his
ties
group,
with
and you're
Arvo.
willing to put
I
your
agree
trust
with
in
you
him?
earlier.
That's
I'm not trying to
nuts.
trust him. I'm just saying you shouldn't beat him up.
That's
You know what I'm saying? Like
crazy.
I'm not saying I
Okay,
trust him,
yeah.
and I'm not saying you have to kill him.
And can
Um,
we mention Bonnie, who's also a traitor?
yeah, no, yeah.
She's like she's also a chronic traitor.
But they only
She very
betrayed.
much
They
like she
actually asked you to come with them, and they didn't want to shoot Clementine. That was Arvo. That was
Yeah, but that's just so they can have a morality pet and they can feel less bad about leaving him
uh
because they were super uncomfortable the entire time. Actually,
yeah, but
weren't
that's
they
because of
leaving? They were
Kenny.
leaving without Clem. Wait a
Yeah,
second. They
that
were
was really
abandoning
bad.
Clem. I just realized.
Didn't they ask her though? Well, no,
No, once she
because
walks out and saw him
they were
loading
afraid
up
of
the
Kenny
truck,
though. What Kenny would do
they were
to
like,
Clem.
oh hey Clem, yeah, you can come too if you want.
Yeah, no, they were afraid of what would happen
I think they
with Kenny if they
realized that I
took Clem.
wasn't. I think they knew in their heart of hearts. It's like catching a dog after
Oh
they
no,
poop on the
they were
rug. They were
betraying.
like,
Yeah,
because they knew that I was a Kenny friend, and they're like, oh man, he caught us betraying Kenny. See ya.
but if Kenny hadn't done all that, they they
They shouldn't
wouldn't
have
have
done
had
that in
to
the
have
first
left
place,
Clementine behind.
regardless if
They were
Kenny
so they were afraid of
beat up
Kenny.
an enemy.
They were afraid of him because like they were afraid what he would do if they took Clem. That doesn't excuse their action at all, but that just sort of explains.
I think it's cowardice leaving your group like that,
That is cowardice. I hate them all, but
and
I think
because
that Kenny
he's
contributed to it.
treating someone who betrayed everyone, whose only action was betrayal badly. But that's where we differ. But yeah, Bonnie was a chronic traitor as well. Can we just mention that? She like
Yeah,
she slept with the man. She betrayed them and she joined Carver and then she betrayed
like
Carver later
everyone's
and then she
betrayed
betrays
at this point.
you
It's so
later.
sad.
It sucks, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, here's something for solace though. Luke, Kenny, Jane, Lee, none of them betrayed Clem.
Luke, Kenny, Jane. Well,
They
okay.
didn't betray her. They didn't join
She didn't
another.
betray. Jane never betrayed her. She just led her down the wrong path, I guess. Yeah, but
Yeah, so did Kenny
she
when
had
he
some
physically
steadfast
pushed.
allies.
Kenny physically pushed Clement. Anyway,
Okay.
yeah.
Um, let's see here. Where were we? Oh yeah. Kenny only cares for family. I'd like to reiterate the scene in the car where he asks if Jane is all right first and then Clem and the baby.
He needed to know if she
Right
was
after
dead.
she was goading her dead, right after she was goading his dead family. And then
That didn't
also,
cost
he was
anything.
not close-minded. He was like, maybe you're right about her. I was wrong about Lee at first too. So I don't think that's totally right, especially since he's caring for Alvin,
Oh,
who's not
yeah,
even
but
his
that's
own kid.
his. Yeah, that's a baby.
Yeah. Oh, that's a baby? That's different?
For people like that, it is different.
People like that. Would you care to clarify?
I would like to say that for many people, babies are. I'm trying to. So, in many cases, if there was a baby or an adult not in a life or death situation, I'd pick the baby. The baby is more.
But not a child, just baby.
I'd probably still pick the child. But
Really?
what I'm.
How's Duck
Yeah,
looking over on the farm right now?
I said if it's not in a life or death situation,
Not in a life or death situation. And they weren't
that
in a life or
matters.
death situation in Carver's stronghold?
Wait, what are you talking? What part are we at? Sorry, I'm
We're
confused.
talking about how he cares for Alvin a lot despite it not being his
Oh
own
yeah, well
child.
yeah, he's making that his surrogate child essentially. But like, I I don't know.
Is
I
that a bad thing?
no, it's a good thing. I
It's okay,
just
Benjamin.
yeah.
Shh. I'm hugging you digitally right now. But I don't think that Kenny's a man who, in season one, yeah, he totally only cared for his family. But by season two, he cared about other people. I really believe that. Um,
Well, I think he never didn't care about. I just think that he would prioritize if it came down to it.
prioritize what?
He
Oh,
would
sorry, you're cutting
prioritize
out.
his family. Oh, sorry.
It's
Yeah,
good.
he would completely prioritize them, and he would like if it came down to the wire, he would betray or cut someone out if it kept his family.
I don't know about
Which
anyone else, but I would totally prioritize a baby and child over that. I can't speak for Jane, and I can't speak for you, Benjamin, but I
I
certainly
think it would
would.
matter.
I
Yeah,
think it would
I don't
matter.
know. Yeah.
Uh,
Wait, Alex, what about a
yeah.
random child? Just aside, a side point. I'm just curious now.
Like,
So
do you think he would
your
save a
wife
random
on
kid?
one side and then a random baby on the other.
It's pretty fucked up, Benjamin. This
You have
doesn't
to
have
pick.
anything to do with the
I
argument,
know. I
but
just want to know.
well, I could go with the cop out answer of I don't know what I'd do, but if you put a gun to
I
Kenny's
will
head
shoot
and
all
was like,
three
I'll
of you
shoot it.
unless you make a decision.
Yeah, if you put a gun to Kenny's head and was like, I'll shoot if you don't choose. I don't know. I'd like to think baby, but
You would what?
I'd like to think baby. I'd like to think I'd choose the baby.
I wouldn't. That see,
Do
like
you
yeah.
see who I'm arguing with here, people? He's a
I
monster.
just wouldn't. It's the whole random person versus someone I know. I just
Well, there
yeah.
you go. Jane and you don't. If a stranger baby, you know.
See, isn't this funny
Kenny's a
though?
moral man who cares about those babies, Benjamin. He's a baby carer. Well,
Is it
Jane
moral?
kills babies, remember?
Yeah, but is it moral to be weak and let people die around you, or is it moral to like keep like the ones you want alive? I don't know.
Really, because Jane seems the weakest to me, killing herself. That's pretty
That was
weak.
pretty. That
That's
was
that's
that was.
pretty weak.
But I thought that is really like that made me actually really angry when I read
Yeah,
that. I
yeah,
was
it
like,
sucked. That sucked how they cut the
like that
branches.
made me so
That made me
angry.
so angry when it's like Kenny dies because a car crash, I guess.
She just
It's like
hangs
what?
herself.
And then she just dies because of hanging herself. I'm like, that's in character, but that still sucks.
Yeah. No, I just yeah. But we just have to focus who was that notwithstanding in the moment who was the best option.
Oh yeah, I can keep going, man. I got a
Yeah,
couple
yeah,
more.
keep going.
Um, so Jane came back for Clem with like the swimming part with
Yeah,
jumping
or the
in
ice.
the
Yeah.
ice and stuff. That was the that was like the one time she like I guess she stuck around
And she came back
unless you
and
count
killed
like the
the
whole like
guy.
baby thing,
Well,
like the
she
fight
came
in the
back and
snow.
killed that guy. The
Who's it?
Arvos, he came back. She came back during that fight.
Yeah, those are probably the only two times she like did something like that. But listen, surrogate sisters, it's a way for coping with guilt. Kenny's coping with he's mourning
Yeah.
death. He's coping with death of a ton of people he cares about. Jane's coping with the guilt of her sister. Clem is a replacement goldfish for her. A better version of her sister so that she doesn't have to keep living with the guilt. And you know what? When it becomes too hard, when she finds out she's pregnant after she slacked off and made love with Luke out in the bushes somewhere. I didn't have to say it like that. But when she
Yeah.
finds out that, she kills herself.
Don't
So
hurt.
you know what? She
Don't
didn't
attack Luke.
she
Yeah.
came back from Clem. Yeah, I'm not talking about Luke. She came
Yeah.
back for Clem and then she left Clem, which seems to be like a thing. She's too afraid to be alone, but she cannot commit to being in a group or caring for other people. You see what I'm saying?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, it's okay.
What you are saying.
You said oh yeah, Kenny blaming Clem for his wife's death. So did you go and tell Kenny to get over it and that people die and that he can't keep feeling bad about himself right after his wife
I
died?
actually don't remember what I did. I
Benjamin,
think
if my track record with say with recognizing what you would have picked as good so far, I'm pretty sure you told Kenny to get over himself and then he told you to fuck off.
what was the context of the conversation? Like, were you
It's
trying
a
to convince him to
it's
do something?
Yeah, you're I think it was helping give birth or something. No, wait, no, it
Oh,
wasn't. Maybe it wasn't that.
because I
Maybe it
think
was
in
just
one of the
after
conversations
and
I
you were
was
just trying to
harsher than
move
the other one.
on and keep moving or something.
Because one of those I was nicer to him and I did all the things because like I did like the thing I didn't hate Kenny except for certain moments in the first. The second season I liked Kenny more than I liked him.
Yeah.
But like I one of the there was two conversations. One of them I was nice, and the other one I was like, get your shit together, like help.
So we got muddy waters, but
Yeah.
um I know that was probably right after she dies and they're sitting in the little camp with the
Oh, he
Civil War.
blames me. I remember he like screams at me. That's probably why I was mad. Like
I'm
he
pretty
blamed me,
I would do
and
the
I'm a
same if
child.
someone told me to like cheer up or like get over it and help
Well,
or
no, he
something.
attacked me, so then I got on.
Attacked you? What? He swung a
No,
hammer at your head?
verbally,
Verbally. Okay.
by saying that he blamed me for the death, and I'm like, she was bit. Like, what was I supposed to do? I
Well, you
did
know
what
what?
Lee did, cut off her arm.
Maybe he felt bad, Benjamin.
Yeah.
Maybe he just felt bad about his second wife dying.
Yeah, and I sort of, but
Yeah. All
Wait,
right, and
did
for
you
the
choose to
record,
chop off
he's
her arm?
huh?
Did you choose to chop off her arm or not?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
Okay.
did. And then she got eaten up. Yeah.
Yeah, immediately. And I was like, oh, I picked the wrong choice.
Yeah, I did that, and then I think he blamed me for that as well. But I was like,
Yeah.
you know what? I told him she was bit, and he's like, yeah, hey, I was like,
Yeah,
you
I
know
said
what?
that
I'll
to
give him
him. I was
space.
like,
And you know what?
yeah.
Once I gave him space, he cooled down. He wasn't angry at me anymore.
Yeah.
But so you mentioned he's unhinged. He's not unhinged, man. The only thing that could be seen as that is beating up Arvo, and I don't even see it as that. It's a little mean, yeah, but I don't think he's crazy. Okay.
I think
Wellington
it was
existed.
sad that
He
it took a
found it.
little girl to go talk to him, and everyone else was so scared of him and wouldn't talk to him that it took a little girl to convince him to come out and be a man and help deliver the baby.
Well, it's more than just a little girl. This is someone he's been with since the beginning. The only, actually,
Yeah,
aren't they
I
the
just, I don't know.
only
I just felt
surviving
it
members
sad.
of the original group? That goes
Um,
way deeper than just little girl.
Trying to think
I'm pretty sure they
whether
are.
there may have been
Because they
someone
killed
who
off
like left
Omid in the
time
in
ago.
the
Like Molly
lamest
is
way
like Molly's
possible.
still alive or something.
Oh, Molly. Yeah, we'll talk about Molly later. I have a list of people to talk about once we finish this. Because we'll talk about it
Oh
like
yeah,
legit.
Molly's like the season one Jane, except for like
Except
nicer,
she's
I think.
cooler and way
Yeah,
better.
she's like nicer. Like she's less cold.
Um, you said Kenny immediately attacked. He's yelled, "You let the baby die," and then started walking up on her. It was threatening posture, but then she pulled a knife after a minute. That was fun.
Yeah.
And you know what? What if the baby died, Benjamin? That was a terrible, terrible plan. If she
I
didn't
just
tell
trusted
Clem,
Jane.
you shouldn't have, man, because if
Yeah.
she died and you didn't find the baby because she didn't tell anybody, it would have gotten
Yeah.
eaten by walkers. An infant getting eaten by walkers. Starvation. That's if it doesn't freeze to death, swaddled in a little cold blanket. And it's just terrible. If
I knew
she
it
didn't,
wasn't
she
deadly. I
figured she
know in
was
my heart of
so
hearts.
sure that she was in the right and that she was totally okay for leaving the baby out there and fooling Kenny and trying to goad Kenny into attacking her. I mean,
No,
that
she
that
was
was a
wrong
terrible
to bring up.
idea.
He was the aggressor there.
He was the aggressor. She
She
lied
didn't
about the
attack.
baby, which they were trying to
She
protect
didn't say
so much,
anything.
being dead.
She
No,
actually
Benjamin,
didn't
that's
say anything.
absence of truth, Benjamin. She looks sad.
He
He's like, "Where's the baby?"
he
And she
made an
looks
assumption.
down and goes, and that was, do not say that was not her plan to pretend the baby died.
Oh no, of course it was. But the point
So, and
is
that's
he
not
didn't
lying.
ask her. They like if he wasn't like already slightly off the edge, he would have been like,
Does he
"Okay,
need to
what
ask?
happened?"
He yelled,
Yes.
"You let the baby die?" And she
So he's
never
already
said
made an
any, she
assumption.
never, and she was like, "No, no, yeah, oh no, I didn't
I
deliberately
don't
kill
think
the
she said
baby."
anything.
Well, why didn't she? She lied directly to
No,
him,
she's
trying to
trying to
goad him
convince
into,
him, but to make a
convince
point
him
that
of
he was so
what? To
crazy that he
die?
wouldn't even have rational conversation with her. He's not think. It's sort of like proving to Clem this guy is not going to be rational when making decisions. Like for survival, this guy is not going to like be good for us.
She made the most irrational decision ever. She didn't tell anyone where the baby was and refused to say, and she, you're
That
saying
Kenny
that she
didn't
never
take the
said it
time.
died. You saying she never said he died? But dude, she clearly was pretending to say that
Oh
it
yeah,
died.
but
Yeah.
if he had actually talked with her, like
She
if he
no,
had calmed
she would have said it wasn't on purpose or something like that.
okay,
She's
but
trying
that
to say if
justifies
he lost the
murder.
baby, he'd go nuts.
That doesn't
And you know what?
justify
He looked like he was gonna punch her with his fists. She
and
pulled out a
if you
knife and
want to
was
be
gonna
punched with
stab
your
him.
fist, then you pull out a knife. Like that didn't justify him doing anything to her.
She
At
intended
that,
to kill him.
he
She
intended to kill her.
she intended to make him. uh, Well, maybe he
I
did. You
mean,
know what? She
he was
was,
gonna
and
kill
she
her eventually.
tried to
You
get
can't
him
tell
to
me.
attack her, Benjamin. And then
She
when he
did,
did, she pulled a knife.
but
That's
yeah, she did.
deliberately planning on killing him, isn't it?
No, no. Okay, she didn't deliberately plan on killing him.
You thought he would go. He thought you. She thought he would
Actually,
just let
maybe
it
she
go.
did. Maybe she thought she could take him. I don't know.
Because
Because now
there's
that
no way what did she
I bet,
expect?
yeah,
Like, oh, he's
yeah,
gonna get
yeah.
angry, and then Clem sees him get angry about the dead baby, and
Uh,
then, oh, she'll come with me.
no, I guess she assumed she could probably win. But I think the point
She
was that
she
like
she assumed that Clem was on her side, and you know what? Ben was on her side, not Clem. Ben. I never stood by that
yeah.
monster.
No, I think the decision to do that whole thing, like I disagree with that decision, but that didn't justify Kenny's attack of her. And Kenny's like so
I
to
think
bring in a third party here. I actually talked with Alex Berkey earlier, and he actually took like a middle road. Okay, so he actually
you
agrees
should
with you.
see
He
this.
loves Kenny. He loves Kenny actually.
Good.
Um,
I love
but he
Alex.
still shot Kenny. But he left Jane. He shot Kenny and left Jane. He didn't like Jane in that
Oh,
sense.
interesting.
So he took a middle ground there, which I could have taken. I just decided I didn't want to go alone.
Eh.
Um, but he, like me, saw an aggressor attacking someone, and he was forcing the knife down into her. So to him, it was saving Jane's life in that case, even though he didn't like Jane. He was like, well, he did attack her and kill her. So to me, like the right choice, you can't just let him kill her.
Well, finishing that rebuttal, I completely disagree with all of that. She deliberately tried to goad him into attacking him. Because what? Getting angry about the baby and then walking away with Clem? No, no, duh, he'd be angry about the baby. The only way she was planning on him to
He's
attack
just
her
not rational.
because that would look irrational. Even though she put the baby in a risky position and maybe let it
It was
die
in a
and
car.
lied
It,
and
it
didn't
was
tell
fine.
anyone just in case of a backup. So I think that was a
Yeah,
horrible plan. She's a bad
it
person
was a
for it.
horrible plan, and
Um,
she's a bad person. But I
yeah.
think, like, I never said she's not a bad person. I just think that she's the better choice.
Well, just a final closing for my rebuttal.
Yes.
You said your main argument was that she was Clem's best bet for surviving.
Yeah.
Look at the season 2 endings. She's somewhere safer. Kenny sacrifices his own safety for her. And at the beginning of season 3, he again sacrifices his own life for her while Jane takes the easy way out and leaves her alone in a cruel world. That's
Right.
not the best bet for surviving. And I rest my case. I rest it.
Okay. Yeah. I sort of did my rebuttal at the same time as yours. We're sort of both going
It's okay.
at the same time
We're
there.
hardly in a real
Um.
courtroom. I'll just see you later for real.
Yeah. Um. I'll just add just like talking about the end there. So I think the season 3 ending I'm going to call that's not the true and I know that's the true if
It's
you pick
just
this
it's
but I
just
feel
lame
like
writing.
TellTale
You
did
just feel
not
like I totally agree, dude. It was
it was
lame.
poor writing.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Um
mean they
like I know
you
she took
can't keep
herself
splitting
but
it
like I guess
forever.
just in the moment we're talking about the decision. I
Yeah.
just I feel like in the moment it was the best choice.
I agree that
Take out
it's not I can't tell if it's poor writing or if it's just limitations of, you know, the genre
of
in
choose.
general because it would be two incredibly different season 3s. It's like two different games. So I understand how they have to cut the branches off, but it sucks, man. Because they had to come up
Yeah.
with a quick end to both of them. And you know what? They gave
Yeah.
Kenny the better way out. And I feel like that's how they summed up. I think that shows the authors and the developers' opinion of Kenny and Jane
Yeah,
was
they were
summing up
biased
their ending
towards
like
Kenny.
we need to end both their lives and we're like we'll have Kenny go out like a hero and Jane can suck because I think that would be the developer's decision. I'm wondering if there's like a video where they actually talk about their own opinions.
Well, yeah, I don't know. I do feel like though that my choice. So I went with Jane, and we went to like I don't remember. We went to this building, and this family came in, and I had the choice either to let him in or not let
Did
him
you
in.
turn him down?
No, I let him in.
Oh,
Um,
looks like
and
there's character development for Benjamin as well.
well, because I didn't think they were gonna do stuff, and you know what? They actually rob you at the beginning of season 3, so I should have turned him away.
You'll never trust anyone again.
See what happens when I'm kind.
I always
But
figured in
no,
a zombie apocalypse that we would stick together. I'm kind of
yeah.
scared now.
Well, you would be the person I would take care. Like you know what I'm saying? I would make sure
I don't want to be
you
the
wouldn't
Clem
have
to
to
your
worry about
Jane.
your life. You don't have to worry about your life then, Alex.
Alright, because I'll be
You're
dead.
good. No, because I'll pick you over someone else. So there you go.
Speaking of someone else, this is running on long, so let's get on to just miscellaneous talk. I've got a list
Yeah.
of shout outs here, starting with Lee the Perfect. God, Lee was a hero. That scene in
Lee was
season
a hero.
2 when you go into the dream and Lee's there. Oh, I
Yeah.
miss Lee. Oh, and
I
the
kept
way.
replaying the scene where he got bitten over and over again
Oh,
because I thought you could avoid getting bitten. Like I
oh,
thought that was
Benjamin,
part
that's
of the
so
thing.
sad.
And like you couldn't, and I when the realization like came that you couldn't avoid and that he was going to die by the end of the episode, I was like, no. I was already heartbroken before I even started the episode.
That's so sad. I feel bad.
Yeah.
Oh, I
Miley went it alone. He went
he
by
went. Oh,
himself.
did you try to amputate your own arm?
Yes, I amputated my own arm
That's so
by
sad,
myself
Benjamin.
and survived and kept going.
How did you not get Omid and Krista?
Because I didn't trust anyone to come with me. Because I didn't want them to know I was bidden. Because I was afraid Kenny would like try to put me down and take Clem from me.
Oh,
And Omid and Krista, I couldn't tell them without also telling.
wait, did you showed the bite, right?
No,
Benjamin.
no, I didn't show them the bite because I was gonna go try to cut it off. I actually like
Dude,
when I saw
you know
the
how much
amputation.
easier it is with other people there? If you don't, you're just kind of slipping and sliding around in your own blood, just
Oh
kind of
no, I know
passing
it
out.
was pretty
It was
brutal,
that's terrible. Why would
dude.
you hide a bite in a zombie apocalypse?
No, because I thought I could take care of it, and then I like went through, and then I like when I saw the amputation thing, I'm like, wait, can I actually survive this? So then I
Dude.
amputated it with the chance that I might survive.
Nice.
Yeah,
Clementine the Precious. I feel like one of the reasons season 3 didn't do as well is because she grew up, and that's weird. Because that
yeah.
shouldn't be a reason why it does worse, but that
Well,
seems to
they
be
have
the appeal
two
of her
different
character, which is
protagonists
sad.
too, and that bothers people because they just want to play as Clem.
Yeah, that's true.
Which
If they played as
that's what I
Clem, yeah,
want to.
I'm
Just
sure
Clem.
they're doing that for the next season. I'd hope so.
They
Anyway,
are. They are.
Omid, the best. Okay, he's great. It sucks they killed him off in season 2 like that. I love
Oh, at
Omid.
the beginning
He
of
was
season
me, man. I love
two,
him.
and they both died. Like that
Well,
really bothered.
we don't know what happens to Krista. She's probably dead.
Wait, really? I thought like you knew that she died or something.
No, you're trying to search for her, but
She
then you
could
just
come
kind of lose.
back.
She could come back. It could pull a Kenny. Also, I didn't mention it, but Kenny surviving was kind of BS as well. Because he sacrifices himself at the end of season 1,
Wait, are
and
they
then they
saying
bring
he's
him
still
back.
alive?
No, no, I mean from season
Oh,
1 to season 2, it looks he
oh yeah,
sacrificed himself at season 1, but then he
yeah,
comes back in season 2. I gotta admit, they're clearly looking for a thread to season 1, and they picked
yeah,
Kenny, even though that's total BS. He would have died. I
yeah,
didn't mention that in the argument. I never really thought about it, but
yeah,
but that's kind of like season 3 beginning. It's kind of just lame.
yeah. I
But I
will
guess they
play. I
wanted to
actually am planning to play. Um,
season 3.
and
Yeah, I don't know
I'm
anything
not
about
going
it, so I
into it
can't
with high
spoil it.
expectations. So,
Yeah.
but I need to play it for consistency. So when season 4 comes out, I'm like all ready.
Maybe once season 4 nears, I'll give it a play.
Yeah.
We'll do another. Just kidding. Season 1 and 2 are the
We'll do
best.
Kyle versus Susan. The
Who,
characters in season 4.
dude, I
Yeah.
already don't care about either of them. I, we're not doing a second episode of this. Season 1 and 2 were pure Kino. This is because Telltale has like a kind of they had this giant spike with this because Walking Dead title, but also it was
Yeah.
really good. I mean, season 1
The
was
first one, yeah,
so good.
amazing.
Um, and then it seems like there's been kind of a decline. And I think Batman was pretty popular, but it seems like they're most popular because they take other IPs, right? For the record, Tales from the Borderlands, absolutely play it. I was super skeptical. I was like, how do you make a choice game in the Borderlands universe? But it was
Yeah.
incredibly good. Playing from the perspective of a Joe Schmuck instead of like a cool ass Vault Hunter. And the entire attitude was a lot more lighthearted. It was great to see like a lighthearted comedy kind of episode from Telltale. They nailed it, man. It was so good. If you
Yeah.
especially if you've ever played Borderlands, play it. It's
I've
so
never
good.
played it,
You can
but I've
still
heard of
play
it.
it if you haven't played Borderlands because they introduced the setting and stuff. But it's so good. I loved it. It's one of I think it's their best one, maybe behind
Yeah.
season 1 of Walking Dead. Arno was, yeah, we talked about Arno. I labeled him Arno the evil fuck because he's a terrible guy.
When Arno shot Clementine, I in my head just condemned him to just like
Yeah,
un-
he shot a kid.
Yeah, like what the
there's a
heck?
cut decision where you could shoot Bonnie, I think. You can
Oh,
find it
really?
online. Yeah, you can find it online because
Holy
kept on
smokes.
posting it in the general thread for it. And
Oh, I forgot about the whole decision whether you wanted to shoot or not.
oh
You remember
yeah,
you have the gun? Oh, I totally shot.
I shot. Well, wait, so
I
you agreed
remember
with
I
them,
shot
but you
them.
shot them?
No, I held off for a while, and you can click shoot, but he grabs the gun anyway.
Yeah. Well,
Um,
they originally they had it so far as to have they had everything for shooting her and they cut it. Maybe it was too maybe everyone was in solidarity and tried to shoot her and they're like, we need a
yeah.
50-50.
Well, here's the thing though. I will admit that here's the thing. Without knowing what would happen in the future and whatever, I mean, like, I still, it's not good to beat up a kid, but like, honestly, after Arno shot Klim, like, he deserved everything he got.
um
I'm saying this like this is like a
yeah,
personal vengeance rather than like
yeah.
what should happen. But no, screw him.
Luke, the truest friend. What
Yes,
a guy. He was just such a likable character.
I
There's nothing
know. He
wrong
was
with
so
him.
nice.
The worst thing he did was sleep with Jane, which I mean, can you
I
blame
mean,
him? It's a
hey,
zombie apocalypse. You get some love where you can, get some romance where you can.
hey, Alex, you probably like him because
It's
he killed Jane
did he?
in my
What?
version of events.
He killed Jane? Luke?
Yeah, think about it.
Oh. You know what? You're right. Even in death, he killed Jane. I love you, Luke. I love you, dude. Thank you for bringing that up. Man, thank you, Luke.
So the one bad thing he did, so it was like Luke did something bad once,
But
but it was
yeah, in the long run, it killed Jane, so that's ice
prematurely
cold.
struck.
That's terrible.
Preemptive strike.
That's terrible. Molly, yeah, she was cool, man. You know,
Yeah, she,
you can win the QTE where she comes up behind you and disarms you or whatever.
oh
You
snap.
can do that. I remember replaying it and I was like, I'm gonna get this, and I did it. And you can like be on better footing when you meet her.
Yeah,
But she was cool. Her story was kind of sad. She
yeah.
was pregnant, right? After
I don't remember.
she yeah she
Been a
well it
minute.
was through a lot of backstory and you have to divine it yourself using the context clues. But there's a doctor and she slept with him in order to get medicine, but then she was pregnant and they had to kick her out. And then she started the break, the zombie outbreak in the school or whatever. I forgot
Oh.
what it was called because she killed the doctor and then ran out.
Oh.
Yeah,
Oh
you
yeah. Now
never
I
knew
remember.
that,
It's
did
coming
you?
back to me. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's coming back. Now I remember that.
it's a nice twist, and she lives in every scenario except for one, which is really hard to get, where you basically deliberately shoot her as she in the hallway, which is I don't know why you do that.
What
So
the
she's
heck?
yeah, so she's out there somewhere. I'm guessing she had trouble with the baby, but she's like the cooler, better Jane. I think we both said that.
I thought they were the same
Molly the
character when Jane
Brief.
showed up.
Yeah, I know, right? It looks
I
so
was like, I
similar.
literally
They have
thought
the
that was
same
the same character.
attitude, but she's just a cooler, better Jane. So that
Yeah.
sucks. I mentioned TellTale the branch cutters. That happens. TellTale the
Yeah.
night of declining quality. Shout out, shout out to Scumbag Lee and Dirtbag Clem. You can make some really mean decisions throughout the whole
Oh man.
game. Have you ever seen the montages of that?
No, I haven't.
Look
But
up
I'm
Scumbag
sure
Lee and Scumbag Clem
I will.
after this, yeah, because
Yeah.
it has a montage of the worst, most evil decisions you can do, and
Yeah.
you can just be a jerk to everyone. But
Yeah, you could like literally leave everyone to die probably. Yeah.
Um, yeah, so just Telltale's games. They made Sam and Max, which is a detective series, very cartoony and fun. Walking Dead, of course. Wolf Among Us. It's
I
great.
heard of
I'm trying to get my dad to play it because he would be into that. It's like
I bet
you've heard about that, right?
I've heard of it. Yeah, I saw it on Steam and I was like trying to debate whether to get it.
I heard it's really good. It's
Okay.
right up there. It's got the seal of quality on it.
Yeah.
Alex put on it.
FYI to everyone listening, I love choose your own adventure games. Like
Yeah.
just absolutely adore. So
Heck,
like Until
the
Dawn was
first
amazing.
episode you chose was morals, and you gave a
I
bunch of
know
choose your own.
choosing your own advent. Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
a certain type of adventure there, but
Oh yeah, different adventure.
yeah, different adventure. But I
Yeah,
don't
yeah,
know. I'm fascinated, and I can't wait to see the new innovations in the gaming world as they become more and more real. Like
yeah,
more and more like real life type stuff, where
yeah.
they don't have to cut.
Now, but I do highly recommend the Borderlands series. I do. Even if you haven't played the Borderlands games,
Yeah,
which I don't really like them. I played them with some friends I made online, but eh, wasn't my style. So I was hesitant, but it was really good.
yeah,
But I got nothing else to talk about, man.
yeah.
I won the argument. You guys can tell us
Argue it out in the
you guys
com.
can tell us, yeah, what you think.
Yeah, and I'll be honest
You
though.
totally got the short straw, man. It's harder to defend a character who's only there for a season and never changes.
Yeah, yeah, I agree.
I'm
It
s-
is harder
I'm
to
sorry I
defend.
had to do that.
Oh
Thank you for
no,
doing that.
oh no, that's fine. I mean, I'm not just a. It's not devil's advocate here.
You
I do
you
actually
believe it, yeah.
I do like Jane, but I don't hate Kenny. So
Well,
I see the soft stuff. I thought his ending with Clementine was absolutely beautiful. Like so, and he did a lot of good stuff despite his disagreements with Lee. He never really took it out on which I
yeah.
would.
I mean,
So
totally.
no, I like
Good
just
argument. I'm shaking your hand through the computer
yes,
right now.
yes.
That was good. We totally
No,
didn't follow any courtroom rules.
oh no,
We both said I rest my case like 4 times.
yeah. And
Different and then continued.
I talked way too much during your turn, but
Don't even worry about it.
yeah,
Best
but
buds. You know what?
yeah.
I'm gonna let her off. Lifetime sentence. Not death.
Lifetime.
It's good. But yeah,
Yeah.
that's about it, man. There's
I
not
hope
much
that was
else to talk about.
entertaining for the listeners.
Absolutely. Tell us who you believe in. I'm genuinely curious to know. I really
Lee.
hope it's just Kenny's out there.
Yeah, Team Lee over everything.
Yeah. Hashtag Team Lee.
Yeah.
All right. This is Bone and Ben signing off. See you around.